I'm Linda from paperboutique.blogspot.com. I am so loving my Gypsy. I've received several emails asking me to do a video on how to use layers. So sorry it has taken me so long. In the video today, we're going to be talking about how to use layers, and we're also going to be making this cute card using the layer function. And here's a close-up of the card. I'm hoping that you can see this. Well, let's go ahead and move to the Gypsy. I have already created a file and saved it, so we're going to go ahead and open this particular file. And I just want to point out a few things on the layers before we actually get into adding them. I have a layer for the base card, as you can see, and all of the layers, the height is going to be 5.59, and the beer cutouts are cut from the smiley card. So there's the first layer, and you can tell that that layer is active because it's in blue. Next, I'm going to click on the card layer, and you can see that is the card. Then I'm going to click on the foam layer, and that's the foam. And then the final layer has the 2001 word and cheers. But I really want to talk to you about why I love to design in layers and how to do it. Let's go ahead and go back to the base card. Now you can see that it is in blue, and for this I just went ahead and flipped one of the shadow images and welded it. But if you go ahead and click on, there's a little eyelid right on the, let me make sure I get it, and we'll go ahead and open that. And you can see now that the base card is active, but you have this other layer, and you can move the base card around. Okay, so let's click on the card and make it active, and then open the eye on the base card. And you can, this is what I really like about it. You can move it, and you're not disturbing your welded image, and you can make sure that you size it. So I'll go ahead and we'll close the eye on the base card. Then you can open this eye and see the foam. And if you click and make that layer active, you can move the foam around and make sure that's going to be perfectly sized. And then we'll go ahead and do the cheers layer, and we'll close the eyelid on the foam and close the eyelid on the card. Let me click on that exactly. And then you can see you've got the 2001 and the cheers on the same layer. And I just like this because when I make each layer active, then I can just go ahead and put the paper down for that layer and cut. Well, let's go back and just open the base card. It's easier to see things, I think, from this particular layer, and I'm just going to click on that. Now, if you're designing in the Gypsy and you bring in a new element, it will automatically stay on the same layer. But if you want to add it to a new layer, you click the plus sign, and there's your new layer. Now, you can do several things with the layers. You can, if you hold it down on it, you can rename it. And let's just backspace, and we'll just call this layer test so you can see how to rename it, and just click OK. And then another fun thing about layers, sometimes if you're doing a layout, you can have like 15 different layers. And if you want to move them around or reorder them, all you do is kind of just drag it. It turns green, and then you can see you just move it. It'll turn green, and then just slide it. Another fun feature, let's go to the foam. And say we decide that we want to have this foam on the new layer called test. So all you do is just select it, and then go to test, go to the layer test, and make sure it's blue, and then go to your advanced function and hit copy. Isn't that great? It's just super, super simple. And it's super easy to delete an entire layer. You just hold down and then go and delete. I just love working in layers. And once again, I just want to mention that let me give you the size for the 2001 here. And I'll go back to the basic screen. It's 2.15 inches wide by 1.28 height, and that's from the George cartridge. And I went ahead and welded that. And then the cheers is from the wildcard cartridge. So I've hoped you've enjoyed using layers. Sometimes you'll love using them for certain applications, and other times you may want to create everything on one layer. Well, let's go ahead and I'll hook this up to my Cricut and I'll go ahead and hit cut, and then we'll get back together to assemble the card. First of all, just want to point out a couple of things. I embossed the card layer, I just call it the card layer, with, I believe it's called the circles folder. And then, but before I embossed it, I like to do my stitching, because some people can do the stitching right on top of the texture, but I'm not one of those people. So I like to do my stitching first and then emboss. And I embossed the foam using the Swiss Dots folder. And then the cheers, as I said in the Gypsy video, was cut from the Wildcard cartridge. And 2011 was welded and cut from the George cartridge. I then used my favorite, all-time favorite stickles. It's called Stardust, and it just picks up, in this case it picks up the blue. And I also wanted to mention that my favorite pen for doing the stitching is the Uniball by Signo. I just think it gives the most consistent application. Well, and that is it. It's just a super cute shaped card, and I still need to do the inside. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching, and please check out my blog at www.paperboutique.blogspot.com for more projects and ideas. Bye-bye.